Hey, what's up, everybody? Ryan from Sports Card Radio. It is Saturday, March 18th, and we are hanging out in California. Did not go to the Fanatics Authentic Show, as I had kind of teased, and I had have been looking at accommodations for several weeks, or about even a month or so in advance to this. Just didn't work out. I was trying to pair it up with a spring training trip, and the Giants were playing more on the west side, and I like the east side stadiums, either the Scottsdale Stadium, Mesa, where the Cubs play, or up where the Rockies and Diamondbacks play. The Giants were over on the other side of the Phoenix area, and it just didn't make sense to cruise into spring training, go over there, and then have to come back and go all the way up to Chicago, and then fly back into Sacramento or San Francisco. Just seemed like too much for only a few days. Couldn't pair it up with another trip. And I even looked today. It was 40 degrees over in the Chicago area, which actually might be kind of mild or nice for this time of year. Well, in California, springtime/summertime has been switched on the last week. It has been absolutely spectacular. We're talking about 70 to 80 degrees. Gym mint weather. Gym mint 10 weather out here in California. So it is hard to leave when that happens. I haven't seen gym mint weather since I think the Arizona Fall League back in October. We go kind of through a cold stretch, and then we've had like record rain in the last couple months. So for springtime to all of a sudden be switched on, certainly don't want to be going too far outside this area. But we got several topics to talk about today about the sports card world in general. Mostly it's going to be a continuation about the last show about selling on eBay and Amazon, where I'm now about halfway through this month. Let's talk about how this month has gone both on eBay and Amazon and go through that. It's been, not a whole lot of other topics, but besides that, I feel like it's really been kind of a boring sports card world lately. Everybody's in their own lane. Everybody has their exclusive. They're working on their own products and don't really butt heads that often. The two Topps baseball offerings, Topps Series 1, Topps Heritage, I think opening day might have came out recently, like this week or something, but all of them are kind of holding steady around what they pre-sold for. Heritage always is, they underprice Heritage. I think that it's like a $54 box direct, and that usually shoots up into the $70 to $80 range. Routinely, $4 or $5 a pack there. So they kind of do they're a service with Heritage. Top Series 1, I know it's still kind of hovering a little above its direct price, which I think is about $49 or $50 a box. And Jumbo, I think the same thing, like $80 or something. So things seem to be pretty well received there, but not a whole lot of buzz, I think, came out of either one of those sets. And obviously with 16-17 basketball, Ben Simmons, number one pick, signed exclusive with Upper Deck and has been hurt all year, so we haven't seen him. The number two to pick, Brandon Ingram, while promising with the Lakers, he's 120 pounds dripping wet, and he's 7 feet tall, so it's going to take him several years in the league to really identify kind of what type of player he's going to be. The rest of the rookies, there's certainly been some performances that have stood out, but nobody's really setting the world on fire in the hobby world. 2017 football is coming up. I'm excited to see what the 49ers will do with their number two pick. They just sent me all the renewals for this season tickets that I have. So hopefully they get some quality talent in the door here soon. But for football card wise, there's not a whole lot of excitement or buzz, at least as of now, with preseason NFL cards. We haven't seen that buzz like you did preseason buzz with like somebody like Johnny Manziel, somebody like Tim Tebow back in 2010. Certainly a lot of buzz around him. And even a little bit last year, once Ezekiel Elliott was drafted by the Cowboys, that certainly fueled some of his preseason cards and gave some insight into what the hobby was going to be like. So we'll have to wait for the draft to see where some of these skill players end up. And if that doesn't look good, then you have to wait till the season until these guys start performing, or the preseason, and see what we have there. certainly a kind of a wait and see aspect of 2017 football, much more wait and see than we've seen in past years, where sometimes the buzz outshines what these guys do on the field in the coming year. But several topics today, all about my month selling on eBay and Amazon. Hopefully this helps you guys out if you're out there. Most of you, if you're doing this, probably way further along than I am. But sometimes it's good to get a little refresher course. And you could certainly email me if you're like, wow, you need to be conscious about this. Certainly shoot me an email and shoot me a tweet or whatever and let me know if there's some more things that I need to have on my radar. But I'll talk about how I did eBay and Amazon, items sold, sales, profit, what I'm accounting for, things like that. Inventory management. As this scales, as you get more cards, as I would get potentially more inventory, I've got to find a way to manage this in a proper way. You know, if you end up buying 10 million cards for, $10,000, how are you going to manage that inventory? I have some theories and some ideas about that, and obviously this is all about scale. It's really easy to manage 500,000 cards, maybe even 5,000 cards, but to scale and to really make a lot of money, how would you plan for and then implement and execute some sort of inventory management system with all these individual cards or team lots or selling other types of inventory? As you'll see with my sales, I sell other types of things besides cards. So how will all that be managed? I really don't know, but I'll just kind of talk through some of my theories and some of my ideas there. Shipping weights. This has become much more important than it was back 10, 15 years ago when I was selling a lot on eBay. I've noticed this a lot. How you really have to be conscious of that when you're listing items, when you're thinking about selling items. Really got to be conscious because there's a big jump once you get past that 16 ounces there. There's some ways to save on eBay. I like that with the FedEx Smart Post. So I'll talk about a little bit about shipping weights. Another kind of to go along with scaling up and kind of efficiency, boxes, bubble mailers, and shipping supplies, and having all these kind of dialed in. This is very important, and something that I've noticed that you could kind of freelance and recycle boxes and recycle bubble mailers and kind of do some creative things to ship some cards. But I think it really does cut down on your time and your efficiency instead of just having everything laid out perfect, ready to go for any type of for all your inventory. And this is, again, something you have to plan ahead. You have to know what you're selling to then get the proper boxes and bubble mailers and shipping supplies. So touch on that just briefly. Taxes, I just had to, or I'm doing mine now. So this is something that's very important that you probably don't even really think of when you're first starting out because you're not making much money, or you're not making any money, or not making very much money enough to report. This is something, again, that if you scale, you do want to make a lot of money. And when you make a lot of money in the United States, you got to pay taxes. So we'll discuss that a little bit and how to keep, again, as you scale, you're going to have to organize all this to scale this large to where taxes will become not only sales tax, but income tax will become a factor. You're going to be selling potentially tens of thousands of items per month. So we'll dive right into those topics and see how I've done so far this month. With eBay, I'm pleasantly surprised with how that things do sell. That if you price things at a competitive price, things will sell. And just this month alone, in 18 days, I've sold 44 items. No more. At no other time have I really had about 300 items listed. All of them have been fixed price buy it nows. I saw they give me 200 free auctions free per month. So I just started listing some random stuff a couple days ago at auction. But all 44 items fixed price buy it now. $895 in total sales. That's in 18 days. And total profit off that is 100. Well, this isn't total profit, but I'll explain what I'm subtracting for here. Profit there, 172.27, about a 19% margining, rounded up to about 20% margin. Of the 44 items, really kind of my hot seller were these, not even anything to do with sports cards, are these 3M adhesive credit card holders that I got. This was like the worst day of my last couple of months. Bought this thing. I sourced this huge pallet of stuff for $400. It shows up at my house, and good Lord, it's like all this stuff. And I even saw in the receipt they paid $281 to ship it to me. So they literally made like $120 to ship me like all these boxes of stuff. Most of it is really like kind of flea market kind of stuff that's not going to be sellable really online that easily. But there was these huge bags of all these 3M adhesive credit card holder things that you would stick like on the back of your cell phone or stick like on the visor of your car and put your credit cards in or whatever. I have like hundreds of these. So I've sold about a dozen of them in the last 18 days. And I make, after all said and done, I make $1.29 on those. Those have been the hottest sellers. I've sold some single cards. I picked up a lot of cards at the flea market. There will be, at the end of the month, I'll put up on either Sports Card Radio or one of my other sites, probably the Opener Card Show site, but I'll reference it on here, and I'll easily point you to where you can find the link. I'll lay out what all the items that I sold. A really good seller for me were, I sourced these old Reebok NFL coaches shorts, big sizes. And I know that anything 3X, 4X, and on up really sells well because that stuff is hard to find, especially licensed. Anything XL, large, medium, find that stuff all day. Medium, small, I try to stay away from. But I sourced these really cheap closeout, obviously because Reebok doesn't have the NFL license anymore. So these things are many years old, but they're brand new in the package with tags. I got the 49ers, Raiders, and New York Giants. That was all they had. But these things sold really quick and really well, and I made, I don't have it broken out per item. Some of them I made over $10 on. They were about $5 each. And I was selling them for about 20. And I think I only have, out of I think about a dozen pair, I only have about 2 left. A 49er pair and a New York Giant pair. So those sold really well. Again, very pleasantly surprised by the total amount of sales, 44 items. And just really how freakishly easy it is that if you are able to source stuff, it will sell if you price it at a competitive price. So $8.95 in sales, $172 in profit. What am I accounting for? I account for an eBay final value fee, a PayPal fee, a bubble mailer or shipping fee, and obviously the shipping cost to then get me, and also the cost of goods sold to get me to my profit. Doing all this, I'll talk about this again when I discuss taxes. Doing all this on a Google Docs spreadsheet. I like using something that saves on a cloud because like if you just save this on your local computer and then you wrecked your computer or your computer crashed or somebody stole your computer, all your inventory, all your data would be lost. So I like storing this on Google Docs. It's what I do my tickets on. And so I track all my inventory and all my profit loss stuff on Google Docs. And you're able to use, not to get too technical, but I use an array formula so that you're just able to type in a couple numbers and it is able to spit out your profit and your revenue for you. And you're easily able to get the amount of items you sold and your total sales on eBay in your overview. They give you a nice little breakdown there. So pretty good so far. I think, I'm averaging a little less than $10 a day profit. Obviously, to make even a semi decent. I don't even want to call this semi decent money. Just briefly, I want to look up what is $172 times 30. That would be, that's only $5,000. I was thinking if you did what I've done so far in 18 days, what if you did that per day? So if you did 900 in sale, roughly 900 in sales, and made $172 off that, $172 times 30 days in a month, like if you did it every day, you were able to average that every day, would be $5,160 times 12. That's $60,000. But that's okay. But we'll get to taxes in a minute. I'll just tease with that. But so to scale this up, it looks like, at least initially with some of the inventory that I have, you need to be doing at least about 50 items per day, 900 to 1,000 in sales, and then off that you might be able to make about 19%, 20% off that. There are several costs that aren't accounted for in my spreadsheet that are almost like fixed costs. Obviously, the eBay store fee, which is $29 a month, that has to be factored in. Ancillary stuff like tape. There are dozens of other costs that aren't equated. I don't even know if that's a word, but aren't included in the in my basic breakdown there of 900 in sales and 172 in profit. There are way more costs there that will drive that net that profit down to the 10% range, to where I'm only made about $90 off that. So it's a thing where I have to temper myself to where, yeah, it looks pretty good that I really haven't been, banging on this too hard, and I sold 44 items, but and the 19% margin seems pretty good, but that gets whittled down really quick if you really get technical with all your costs, which you were going to want to do as you scale and as you make more money, because again, to tease it even further, as you make more money, the more taxes you will have to pay. Well, we really, should talk about it now. Why this is so important. Because if you start rolling, maybe you find some hot items, maybe you're just hustling, maybe you're getting up. I could see if you get up this and you just list and grind 10, 12 or more hours a day, you are going to churn out you're definitely going to churn out some sales if you know what you're doing, and you're going to make some money off that. And the more you grind, even if your margin is in more what I think it's going to be in the 10% range, you still can do pretty well if you sell a lot of items per day. And the thing you have to be very conscious of, this is something that I learned with taxes, is that you could be doing your taxes and you could be looking back and thinking, gosh, why did I skimp and didn't buy the good computer that I really wanted, and I saved a couple hundred and bought the down level? Why did I not take that business trip? Because I didn't want to burn through some of my cash or some of the money that I had saved up for the business. Because then when you start doing your taxes and you have made money, all that money is going to go to the government, and any type of write-off that you would have been able to claim in the prior year is gone. Could have bought a better computer, could have bought faster internet, could have went on that business trip, could have went on many business trips, could have wrote off more of your miles, could have accounted for everything in a much more efficient way to get all these costs, all these ancillary costs that sometimes you don't even think about. We all think about the eBay final value fee, the PayPal fee, how much your bubble mailer cost, and your shipping cost, and obviously how much you paid for it. That's very easy. That's going to go in every single spreadsheet if you're doing something like this on eBay and Amazon. Those are just the things. But all the other stuff, the mileage, the time it takes you to go to the post office, tape, any type of other fee that it's costing you, paper for your labels, we could all go on and on and on about other little stuff that you have to buy scissors. I mean, you could just go on and on and on and on. And obviously, if you grow, where are you going to store all this stuff? Is it going to be stored at your house? Is your wife going to divorce you because you're taking up 3 bedrooms of the house with all your card inventory? Are you going to store it in some kind of warehouse? Well, how much is that going to cost? You're going to store it in some kind of office building. You're going to store it in some kind of storage facility. All these things eat away at what is your margin that looks pretty good on paper, that 20% margin. It gets whittled down quick. And obviously all the other bills that you have in your life. So as you're going, it maybe sounds good. Hey, I'm making money on this. Well, a lot of that money is going to go to the government. So you should try to account for all the expenses and all that you can and invest in your business as much as you can. Even if it seems frivolous to buy that really good computer, buy that really good internet service, or I'm thinking you need a really good scanner. If I was if I wanted to sell cards full time on eBay, there's some of these scanners that scan like 1,000 cards, in 10 minutes. I mean, it's just like boom, 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 boom. You just put the cards in and they just like rifle through. I've seen videos of it. At the time, these scanners were a few $1,000s. I bet the price has really, really come down, as usually happens with technology. Prices probably come down on those. I would buy one of those just to make the scanning process more efficient. I'd buy the best printer you could buy. I'd buy, my printing labels in bulk. I think the things I want to buy are I see them a lot of times. People send stuff to me, the adhesive labels that just go through your printer. I'm actually literally printing out these stupid labels on paper, cutting them out and taping them. I mean, how inefficient is that? I should just be sending it label through, peeling off the label, boom, slapping it on the bubble mailer, the box, or wherever it's going, and off on its way. So I'm being inefficient there. So that's an efficiency thing that I need to, again, invest in. I need to find these labels. They probably don't work with every type of printer. So if I need to buy a new printer, I need to buy a really good printer so that these things go through quickly and I'm not blowing money on ink and all this other stuff. Again, cost. But these are all things you want to account for, because if you do end up making money, you don't want to get to April and feel like, dang, I didn't keep track of all this stuff, or I didn't account for all this stuff, or, oh man, I should have bought these things, or I should have went to the industry summit, or I should have went to the Upper Deck conference, or whatever it is, because these are all things that are really handy dandy. Some of them are 100% write-offs to your business, and it keeps your it can keep your business running more efficiently as you scale. It can keep you running more efficiently if you invest in your business, if you kind of spend your profits on stuff like a really good scanner, printer, shipping labels, things of that nature. I'm sure you guys out there can think of many things on your wish list that you'd like to have to make selling easier for you. I cannot stress how important it is to be detailed and organized with all your profit and loss statements on every single item that you sell, and every single item that you have. You should have an ongoing tally of your inventory. That number should be easily obtainable. You don't want to get behind on that. That's something that when you're filling out your taxes, they ask you how much inventory that you have. So, briefly want to talk about quickly just shipping weights. Most of you, if you're currently selling on eBay, you've already know this quite well, and something that you probably keep track of quite often as the Postal Service makes changes, or FedEx on a lesser degree if FedEx and UPS makes rate changes. Shipping rates are very important, because anything, at least that I found, anything under 16 ounces you can send first class. Usually ends up being under $5, which is good. But the second you crack that 1 pound barrier, is there a less than $9 option? I don't know if I found it. I think if you do FedEx Smart Post 1 pound close by you, it's like $5. I think it's dependent on how far it's going that they charge you there. That's usually the option that I've had to go to when I'm shipping out stuff that's 2-3 pounds on eBay. I have to go to FedEx SmartPost and save money there. Thankfully, I live extremely close to a university that has a robust shipping department. So anything that I need to drop off is very, very close. And that makes things handy. I also live close to a FedEx location as well. Some of you may be in areas where it'd be harder to drop off something like a FedEx SmartPost package. That may not work for you. You might have to just go through. It looked like there's a USPS parcel post, but it really jumps. The amount of money you're paying feels like it jumps quite a bit once you exceed that 16-ounce level. So again, this is stuff that when you're selling it and when you're sourcing inventory, like now I'm thinking, okay, how much is one of those going to weigh? And if I can't sell one and I have to like lot 2 or 3 together, how much is that going to weigh? How much am I going to have to charge? What's my shipping fee going to be? What am I going to put it in? All these things are going through my mind now, and it wasn't something that was I was really thinking about when I was like, oh, I'm just going to start throwing some stuff on eBay and see how it goes. So really want to be dialed in with your boxes and your bubble mailers. I sourced some good white rigid ones on Amazon. They were 19 cents each. That's probably a little expensive, but they're hard and rigid. They're not like a bubble mailer, which is soft and can even be bendable. So all the tickets, they fit the tickets that I was selling, obviously cards and the little adhesive credit card holders that I sold a dozen of. They fit in there as well and other stuff. I got 2 sizes of those. I was selling some folders and some more larger magazines, and those were 40 cents each. Time and efficiency is key here, because if you have an employee and they come in and they're printing out labels and they're picking the inventory and they're packing the inventory and shipping all this stuff out, you want this to be done in an efficient time as possible, because you're probably paying this person by the hour, and you want them to be able to come in, easily know where to find the item that is sold, be able to pack that up quickly and efficiently into either a bubble mailer or a box, print out that label, slap it on there, and get to a post office location as quick as possible. So just another, it's just another little efficiency thing that in the long run, if you really want to scale this and you want to be making, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year off this stuff, gotta have all this. I believe you gotta have all this stuff dialed in, because if you're going to be paying somebody, you don't want them fundling around looking for a bubble mailer, looking for the right size box, looking for all this stuff. No, spend the extra money. Again, it's going to go to Uncle Sam if you don't. Spend the extra money, get all different size bubble mailers, shipping stuff, boxes, collect used boxes if you have to. Send your employee out and to go get boxes that people are throwing away, and put those store those in your office or whatever you have to do to make this the most efficient way possible. I think it's very important to go from where the inventory is stored to the bubble mailer to the post office in a short amount of time, and you almost should be probably timing that process out per order to just in the long run, you probably want to be doing that just to see efficiency of your own employees, efficiency of your own self, and in what ways can you cut time there. Because again, time is going to be money. Eventually you'll be able to hire a robot who will be able to pack and ship your items at probably pennies per hour, but we're not quite there yet. Inventory management, I teased this in the beginning. I don't think I really got into this. I started talking about what I sold and all this other stuff. I missed it on my paper here. If you go from 1,000 cards to 10 million cards, how do you do that? I don't really know. I think with cards, one method, if most of my sales were on eBay, I think what I would do is sort them in the order that I put them on. And in my listings, I would have an identifier. So I'd probably start at 1. So the first card I put on, I would put in the item description somewhere just 1, and nobody would really know what that means except for me. So I see some people, they do it in the title. It's like an inventory kind of tracking thing for them. They do it in the title. So I think you could have some kind of little code string you put in the title or in your item description. maybe there's, as my phone rings about an offer that I'm getting on eBay. I just lost my train of thought. You start thinking about, oh, what did they offer me there? Yeah, $3 on some Derek Jeter tattoos. That might work. So first time I put on, that is item 1. I put that in my box, and I think you're going to have to put a sticker or however you're going to have to label this card. Most obviously the way Amazon do it, you go by barcode and you're barcoding a lot of stuff in. I don't know if you really have to go, full POS. You can. It's certainly something you could invest in. Again, I would never rule anything out. If you want to go full POS and make barcodes for every single card that you're putting in, and then you're also scanning like the box that it goes in with a barcode. But I'm sure we can all think about how, wow, if you get, an office full of cards and one sells or 10 of them sells, you're going to have to know exactly where the heck those cards are. And I think there are different ways to do it. You could sort it by year and player and all this stuff. But I'm thinking if I hire some brain dead person who knows nothing about cards and I'm paying by the hour, I just want them to be able to look up numbers. Okay, card number 4,176 sold. Boop, there it is. In box. If you have them in boxes, you kind of know how many cards fit per row. So it shouldn't, and you could have little, labels to kind of section out each box so that they could open up the box with cards number 3,000 to 4,000 in it, and they could easily find card number 3560 because I have, just some ways. Again, I'm just thinking this through because I have to think it through to have, because I would want somebody to basically do all this for me. I would only want to do the things that I enjoy, which is kind of sourcing the stuff and, responding to offers. That's about it. Maybe listing a couple things if I want, but I don't even really like doing that. But I do like sourcing stuff and seeing if it's able to sell. So I would need somebody to, list, store my inventory, pack and ship my inventory all at once. The one thing that concerns me, besides the margin, that even before any kind of bigger expenses get put in, is only at about 20%. The thing that really concerns me is I'm going to have to do more research on this because I haven't had a business to where this really applies to me that much. Aside from I had the card store and I was too young and dumb to really think about it. It's really inventory ratio. My thought is, do you just have to keep buying stuff? I'm only making I'm making about $10 a day here. Ideally, I need to crank this up to more like $150, $200 a day profit. To get there, do you just have to keep buying and buying and buying and buying and buying, and maybe you never get there because you can never turn off the buying tap of the inventory? You never find something that you can just consistently milk over and over. Like, you just have to keep buying cards and listing, and you never really get over the proverbial hump to where you're really making serious money. Like, it's too much of a grind. That is the thing that worries me. It's something that I don't have to account for in my ticket business because, the very unique thing about tickets is that there's a definitive time and place of the game or the event. So the buyers either have to buy the tickets and go, or they don't. And the sellers either have to sell the tickets or they don't. And there's this, kind of this pinnacle that it gets to with it, almost any event, any well-attended event that has some kind of secondary market with tickets, where, you're either going to go or you're not going to go. And, you're going to pay whatever the tickets cost at that moment or you're not. So, I don't have to worry about inventory with tickets because the tickets either sell or they don't, and they become worthless. That's not something that happens with cards. You buy inventory, and it could stay on the shelf for a while. It could be costing you storage space. It could be costing you time and effort to be, continuously relisting it. There are costs associated with inventory that is not selling. There is some kind of ongoing cost that it has, a number that you can define it as. Whereas, the tickets that I buy that I don't sell are worth zero. And it's very easy to account for that and, to have that on your spreadsheet. You either sold it or you didn't. And, it's one thing that I do like about tickets. It's one, not to touch on tickets, but maybe I'm kind of waiting for this hurdle in eBay or something that you could, when kind of one hurdle to get over when selling tickets is that when you don't care if you sell the tickets or not, that's when you could call yourself a ticket broker. If you paid $300 for some tickets and you don't care if they sell or not, you're going to either get your price or they're not going to sell. That's when you've made it. There was a game the other day where I lost $400 on, and you don't lose sleep over that, because the next day you could make $400 or you can make $1,000. You don't care about your inventory that either got devalued. You don't care about if you don't sell some tickets, because hopefully you didn't overextend yourself. Hopefully you catch it. Hopefully you catch any kind of downturn in the market and you sell your stuff before it gets too bad. But I'm wondering if something like that is in eBay, is when you stop caring about X. That's a breakthrough actually in your business, and you can actually break through higher. So if any of you have any thoughts on that, is when you stop worrying about beep, as an eBay seller, something that as you got started you worried about, but once you got over that fear or that kind of thought, you were able to actually grow your business. Something to think about and ponder. So that's about all I got. If you haven't, hopefully you haven't noticed, this has been an absolute battle to get through. Allergies are really bad. The one downside to the 80-degree weather is the allergies. Maybe a lot of you don't ever have to worry about this. The allergies get turned on quick out here. And I've had something caught in my throat dang near all show. So this has been a 40-minute battle to just talk about this, and been a little bit of starts and stops for me. So I apologize there. Hopefully with some editing you didn't even notice. But best advice, keep yourself organized. Keep every single detail of your business life on some kind of Google Docs or some kind of cloud spreadsheet that you can always reference and that is always as up to date as possible. Don't be afraid to take those business trips. Guys, why do you think that I travel the country going to venues that I may end up selling tickets for? I mean, these Pearl Jam concerts are not only, me enjoying Pearl Jam, but I want to see in these stadiums, where are the really good tickets? What is the market like before the event for the tickets? As I'm getting tickets myself, what is that like? Are there any available at the box office? How much are they? What's going on at the venue? Is anybody outside saying, I need tickets? What's the local vibe like? To me, that's all just very good business research. And anytime you're doing business research, I think that's a business trip. So you wonder why I rack up so many frequent flyer miles and spring training. It is really useful. I will say this. It is very useful if you're selling spring training baseball tickets to know where the tickets in the shade are, because breaking news, it's 90 degrees. If it's 80 degrees here, it's probably 90 to 95 degrees in Arizona. It's hot. And if you're traveling in and you're not used to it, good luck being able to sit there for a nine-inning baseball game in the sun. So guess which tickets sell for more? The ones in the shade. And the only way you're going to really know that is if you go to these stadiums and find it out for yourself. Again, business tips by Ryan. Go on business trips. Account for everything that you do business-wise and be prepared to write that off, because if you start making real money, a lot of money, trust me, the check you're going to have to write to the government every year, is massive. Is absolutely massive. I just got a little choked up with the check I had to write. So as I get over that, hopefully you guys have a good rest of the month. Maybe I'll come back at the end of the month and just wrap up my month. And I do want to share all this information, put all this information out there, show you what items I sold so that you can get a look at it and break it down for yourself. Peace out. Take it easy.